Hey guys, welcome to your 10th ActionScript 3 game development tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a lesson that I call Think Like a Programmer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you instructions. I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try to work through it yourself before you unpause the video and see how I implement it. So today we're going to be creating a garden that manages our flowers. So if we start with this, we're going to do add new class. Make sure you're in source and not ActionScript project, or it'll add it to your actual project instead of your source, and then it gets kind of weird. It can't ever find it, kind of. I guess I will explain this screen quick. Package, you don't need to worry about this yet. Modifiers, public or internal, that's the type of class. We're not gonna ever touch that. Dynamic and final, we're not gonna touch those. A base class right here allows us to choose what class it extends. So if we type in like flower, we could create garden to be a child class of flower, but we're not. So we're gonna create garden, and then interfaces are kind of similar to that. We're not gonna be touching those for quite a while until we're working with games, which starts next tutorial. Yeah, we're going to do tutorial 2.1, which is Intro to Flashpunk, so I hope you guys are excited for that. But for now, we're going to create a new garden, and the garden is going to manage flowers for us. We're going to be able to put flowers in the garden and pollinate all the flowers at once. So, with that being said, we need a way to store the flowers. We need a way to put flowers inside the garden, and also a way to pollinate it. So for our first part, we're going to want to create a storage mechanism, so to say, for flowers. And I'm saying this is a bit complex, so you kind of have to think about it a little bit, but it's actually quite simple. If you want to pause the video and think about it, try to code something, you can, and then you can unpause and see my implementation. So for everybody that's unpausing or just continuing on, because either they don't want to think about it or they already know what they're going to do, all right, we are going to create a private var called flowers, and it's going to be an array. And every garden is going to have this. So we could technically create multiple gardens, but we're only going to have one. And I'm going to pull this over here so we have main, okay? So instead of calling all this, we're going to want to create a new garden. So if you want to pause this and type it out yourself, you can. I'm going to continue on now. So var garden is equal to new garden, and it'll create a new garden that has a flowers array. Now, this next part, you might actually encounter an error with this, and if you do, don't fret, that's supposed to happen. I want you to create a method inside garden that allows you to add new flowers to the flowers array. All right, continuing on. Now, if we go into this, what I would do is I would create a public function called add flower, and I would create f flower. It's going to be void, and what we'll do is flowers dot push, it's called. If you didn't know that, that's fine. You can put in f. You could also do flowers sub flowers dot length is equal to f. If there's 0 flowers in there, it'll do sub 0, and if there's 1 flower in there, it'll do sub 1. Like I said, there's tons of different ways to do stuff. There's probably a third. Not exactly with this, but you can either use this or you can use the handy push function, which pushes it to the end. Flowers.pop removes whichever one's furthest right or on the top of the array, as they'd say. So whichever one has the highest index, 0, 1, 2, 2 would have the highest index. That's at the top of the array. It would pop that one off, and then when you add another one, it would go in place of 2. Flowers push. Now you can pause this if you want. I want you to add both of the flowers to the garden. Okay, unpausing it, we're going to do garden.addFlower, F1, garden.addFlower F2. Okay, now when we run this, you're going to have an error. And you're probably thinking, what the heck? What is this? This is a runtime error. Cannot access a property or method of a null object reference. This is what I was saying last time, okay? So in order to get through this, you need to press stop, start task manager. You need to go through your 50 instances of Chrome and then find Flash Player. You can also click anywhere and press F, and it'll bring you straight to the Fs, and then typically it's the second one. And you end that process, and the reason why we do that is so we can once again run our thing, because it's secretly kind of running on our computer, but we can't see it. Okay, the reason why that's happening is flowers is null. We need to make sure that we set flowers to a new array when we start garden. We could also do it up here, and then we wouldn't need it here, but it's all your preference. There's a slight difference in how it creates it, but it really doesn't matter at this point in time. So now if we run it, ta-da, it does nothing. So I guess what you could do if you wanted is trace f.getName plus added. So then you can see what got added. Rose added and cactus added. You could also add them in reverse order if you wanted, but that's not a biggie. So let's see here. The next thing that we need to do is add a way for all the flowers to pollinate. So I will let you pause this and think about it if you wish, or else I will just continue and implement it myself. So the next thing is public functionate. Did I just say functionate? Anyway, public function pollinate is what I will call it, and it'll be void. And what we need to do is go through every flower. So we need to loop through it. If that just gave you a hint that you're looking for and you want to pause it, go ahead. You can pause it anytime, really, and try to do stuff yourself and then compare it to me. I'm going to do it the basic way. So var I, which is an int, which is equal to 0, I is less than flowers.length. Oops, not flower. Flowers.length. I plus plus flowers sub I dot pollinate. Now, the reason why it didn't pop up here is because this function doesn't know that the array is full of flowers. It doesn't know what the array is full of because we never specified that. You can't really specify that in ActionScript 3. So if you try running this, it'll work, but it won't pop up there. So if you did want this to pop up so you could see everything, instead of doing this, which the reason why we didn't see anything was we didn't call pollinate. So you see that they both pollinate there by calling garden.pollinate. The other way would be to use for each var flower, which is a flower, in flowers, flower.pollinate, okay? And then we can delete that. And you'll see that it does the same exact thing. So there's tons of different ways to do stuff, and I hope that this was a kind of interesting lesson for you guys to kind of give yourself a bit of thinking on your own. And if you did just watch the tutorial, it's not a biggie. It's just as you continue through learning programming, you're going to want to learn how to think independently, because you can Google search all your problems, but coding is so much more fun when you figure out the problems yourself and you come up with new solutions, and that's how we get new methods. If nobody thought for themselves, we'd still be in 1960 with command prompt. We wouldn't have Flash, we wouldn't have anything. So if you are getting passionate about this and you really want to make games with ActionScript, I highly suggest that you just play around a lot and just fiddle around with ActionScript and learn things. Google search, try things that you think might work, and then if they don't work, try to figure out why. You can always contact me, and really any of us at Indie Function, and we can always give you a hand if you're experiencing problems, comments, whatever. We have emails on the site, which you probably shouldn't use. I would I would suggest you just leave a comment here because we get a lot of emails and I'd probably just lose it. But yeah, so play around and have a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed the first series, I'm calling it, of the ActionScript 3 tutorials. So this is series 1, and series 2 is also going to be 10 episodes long. They're all going to be 10 episodes long, and they're basically going to each have a focus. The first one was learning ActionScript 3, and the second one is learning Flashpunk. So starting the next tutorial, we're going to have Intro to Flashpunk, and I'm going to teach you how to get Flashpunk set up and make sure that it's working. And if you want to work ahead, you can go to useflashpunk.net. I'll pull it up quick, because I believe that's what it's called. Flashpunk right here. Use flashpunk.net. You can follow their tutorials if you want, but if you are okay with waiting, you can just wait for me to give you the lesson, and then I'll also be able to help you out with any problems that you have. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll catch you next time.